We all know what movies the critics think were the year's best, and pretty soon we'll all know what movies the industry think were the year's best. But what about you, the moviegoers? Well, for the past few weeks, I've asked BTT viewers to vote for their top 10 movies of the year, and the results are in. Let's take a look. At number 10 is Source Code. That such a small sci-fi thriller beat out a lot of summer blockbusters to make it onto this list shows that Duncan Jones won many of you over with his directorial debut Moon, and did not disappoint you with his second film. That's because while he might have taken Hollywood's money, this time creating a much flashier and glossier picture, he stuck to his mental guns. In fact, one could say Jones is the next Christopher Nolan, yet Nolan himself passed on giving Jones the helm of the Superman reboot. Jones was also up for Hugh Jackman's next Wolverine pick, but lost out there too. It's okay though, because with strong support from you, strong filmmaking, and solid box office returns for Source Code, Jones's own Batman Begins is out there somewhere. Number 9 is 50-50. Now, while this movie didn't make a lot of critics' top 10 lists, you were onto something as the Golden Globes gave it 2 major nominations, Best Actor and Best Picture Musical or Comedy. And it took guts for Seth Rogen to make a comedy about cancer, but then again the story meant something to Rogen. His real-life friend Will Reiser wrote the screenplay his first based on his own brush with cancer, which Rogen helped him work through just as he does Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the movie. Rogen and company weren't rewarded at the box office, and maybe they'll leave award season empty-handed, but they touched your hearts and you remembered them for it. For number 8, you put Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Pirates of the Caribbean wasn't the only franchise to plow past the trilogy mark in 2011, as MI4 surprised both audiences and Hollywood with an impressive debut. And to think, Paramount blinked and moved the pick back from its December 16th premiere date for fear it couldn't compete. Instead, it opened on just a few hundred IMAX screens, hoping to build buzz, only to dominate the headlines with a strong showing, while the movies it had tried to avoid opened soft. While many first attributed its initial success to The Dark Knight Rises sneak peek that ran with the film, it soon became clear that Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was more than capable of standing on its own 2 feet. Yes, Hollywood had gambled on the wrong horses, once again proving they didn't have their finger on the pulse of the audience. You gave Tom Cruise's career new life, and you gave Brad Bird a future in live-action filmmaking. Number 7 is Drive. Unfortunately, though, this is one of those movies that was the victim of its own hype. Thanks to an impressive debut at Cannes and other film festivals, word of mouth spread like wildfire that Drive was a cinematic masterpiece. However, that fire spread out of control, and mainstream audiences, learning that the film was about a stunt driver by day who was a getaway driver for hire by night, began to expect a Hollywood blockbuster. Soon, a story of how a woman was suing over what she felt was a misleading trailer for the movie was what audiences associated with Drive, not the rave reviews that were still coming in. But those of you who started the buzz for Drive still stand behind it, and new people join you every day. Yes, Drive is on the road to cult hit status. At number 6 and 5 are Captain America and Thor. Marvel should be thrilled with this showing, especially since this very same year you rejected DC's attempt to build their own cinematic universe with Green Lantern. And that you don't like just one but both of them pretty much equally shows that Marvel is building its cinematic universe fast but steady. Speaking of building, this year you also made the Avengers trailer the most downloaded trailer of all time. While other franchises make you wait years between movies, you're getting more Thor and Captain America in less than 5 months. And that you're excited to see them proves that Marvel's gamble to hire an unknown to play Thor and a passed-over heartthrob to play Captain America paid off. Number 4 is Super 8. J.J. Abrams honored his own love of movies with this ode to Steven Spielberg, and you fellow movie lovers were keen to join in on the celebration. Hey, if we're going to celebrate any filmmaker, why not Spielberg, as he created the summer blockbuster with Jaws? And as you can see from this list, it changed how we feel about movies and therefore which movies Hollywood makes. And while Super 8 might not be getting much recognition now at the end of the year, its success on this list and at the box office proves that J.J. Abrams has a bright future in Hollywood, as he knows what you want to see. Plus, if Spielberg isn't going to make these big blockbusters anymore, hint hint Spielberg, at least we have someone worthy to inherit the mantle. Number 3 is Rise of the Planet of the Apes, this year's movie that you feel is getting robbed its due. We've been having one every year now since The Dark Knight was snubbed at awards season, Avatar, Inception, and now Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Why aren't critics and the industry recognizing the brilliance of Andy Serkis' motion capture performance? And why is it that when a film is recognized for its brilliant special effects, suddenly everyone becomes blind to its brilliant acting, writing, and directing? At least you put it at the top of this list, and over in the U Reviewers Awards we nominated it for Best Picture, so that's a start. Robbed, we say. Robbed. Now, interestingly, number 2 is X-Men First Class, and the reason I say it's interesting is because of how it reached that status. You didn't overwhelmingly vote for it as number 2, or even number 3 or 4. What happened was that in each slot, X-Men First Class managed to have the most votes, meaning that while you certainly didn't agree where on the top 10 it should be, you all definitely agreed that it should be there. This ended up resulting in the number 2 spot. Therefore, Matthew Vaughn and company can be proud they made a film that might be flying under the radar now, but has laid some excellent groundwork for the sequels that are sure to come. And number 1 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Without a doubt, you overwhelmingly voted for this movie, proving what a special franchise it truly was, and how brave or stupid Warner Brothers is to end it. Or was it because this was the final Harry Potter film that you loved it so? What do you think? Is Harry Potter truly the best film of 2011? And if you think so, will you still feel that way in, say, 2021? And how do you feel that it's not getting any awards love? Share your thoughts down below, as well as your own personal top 10 list for 2011. I'm Grace Randolph, and thanks to everyone who voted in this year's poll and who watches this show. I look forward to another great year with you at the movies and bringing you brand new content every weekday. See you tomorrow when I'll give you my own top 10 list for the year.